Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Shemar Kakadash, the bunch of the apostles, Nels Great Millstone, 4 teachers is true, peace and blessings to the whole of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the friendly Hebrew, by Hashem is the name, Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back on the lesson, and as you see within the title, more fuel for the fire. And I'm going to be going to this recent situation where you had a U.S. Submarine sink an Iranian warship. And just going back to the title, the point, you're having more fuel being thrown to the fire, which is going to cause a bigger fire, and just ultimately going to how things are getting worse. Tensions are only getting higher. And I was originally going to title the lesson, that fire is being blown. And when you add air, to a fire, when you're blowing a fire, it makes it hotter, it makes it grow bigger. So ultimately, just going to that point of how things are only going to get worse. And just 2 days ago, you had their supreme leader, taken out. Then you had them go on and say, pretty much death to Babylon, aka America. Now you have this right here, a U.S. submarine sinking an Iranian warship. You also have Iran, or Iran, however you say it, also doing retaliatory, for saying that correctly, attacks, also striking, other places. But going to read into this article right here, just more of an update as to what's going on, doing our duty as prophets, as watchmen, blowing that trumpet, sounding that alarm. Because ultimately, this is all leading up to World War III. As many brothers have been making lessons and going into through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. Starting with the apostles and elders on down over the Great Millstone, I've been warning and telling you of these things to come. But it says U.S. submarine sinks Iranian warship with torpedo in Indian Ocean as Pentagon releases footage of strike. Let's see what this shows.
People need shelter, people need food, people need water. We're talking about women, we're talking about kids.
I'm guessing it's a live feed as to what's going on over there. But the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. submarine sank an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean with a torpedo. Hegseth did not name the ship, but earlier the Sri Lankan Navy said around 140 people were missing after an Iranian warship, the Iris Dena, went down off the coast of Galley. And I'll just read on these points. It says, at the same news conference, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Jen Dan Kane, says the U.S. will strike progressively deeper into Iranian territory, which is what Trump said at the beginning stages, that this would be a multi-day thing. So you may see this, get a lot more, stickier, dirtier, it's about to get a whole lot muddy. Now it says, at the same news conference, Chairman of the Joint, the UK is sending a warship to the eastern Mediterranean after attacks on a British base in Cyprus, but is not expected to set off this week. Meanwhile, Israel said security headquarters across Tehran as U.S. Israeli airstrikes continue in Iran. It's getting worse and worse every day, one man in Tehran tells the BBC. And hey, we said this. Do spend probably how about Shemel Shai. I believe I titled my lesson a couple of days ago, going to it only gets worse or something to that effect. And the prophets told you. Now the 3-day funeral ceremony for ex-Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei due to start this evening has been postponed. Israel's also hitting Lebanon. We speak to the owner of Lebanese hotel that was hit, which just showed a feed of, I believe Lebanon. But the new attacks, apparently from Iran, have been reported in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, which I believe Kuwait was one of the places they struck, and I believe they said they have the right to strike back or something to that effect. I believe it was Kuwait, if not something else. But one of the places were struck, and they were going on about how they want to strike back. So you may see a lot more allied nations get involved. Like I said earlier, it's going to get a whole lot muddier. So while Turkey says NATO defenses shot down an Iranian missile. So quick little update. Now let's get into these scriptures at hand. This is Joel 3:9-12. And it says, prepare, or it's like, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So war is quite literally in the air and really unfolding right before your very eyes. Was it proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men which go into these nations, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, be your plowshares into swords and your prinks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So these nations are preparing, to go to war, beating these, plowshares and which are, I believe, farming tools, into weapons of war. And you have these nations begin to, shoot, these ballistic missiles, and ultimately soon leading up to those ICBMs, those nuclear missiles. So the Lord is stirring that pot between these nations in order to reach that boiling point, which is going to be World War III. That's why you're seeing these things not dying down. That's why you're seeing things, matter of fact, only picking up. Go back to that point, that fire's being blown, more fuel for the fire. That blaze is only getting hotter. Now it says, let the weak say, I am strong. Now you have the nations begin to stand up against Babylon, against America. As you see, they're not taking pretty much any flack. And verse 11, some of yourselves come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. There's a cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come to the valley of Yehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, which goes into Yahweh's judgment. For there will sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord's getting ready to judge this earth, man. Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. What is that second woe? Speaking of that Second World War, and I believe they even made a point to where, this has not, something like this has not been done since, World War II. Which is the video I originally did right here. Broke that much. So Hex said wrong to say first torpedo sinking since World War II. And you have people, I guess, fact checking or what I'm looking for, damage control, as the case may be. Just goes to show the type of times that we are in. So pretty much hasn't been done since World War II. But we're also going to Revelation 11:14, going to that third world war that is fastly approaching. And you've seen the various steps being taken towards it. Now it's Matthew 24:6. It's got a quick verse from 24th chapter, which usually I'll get the 3rd to the 8th verse. This is the main point I wanted to get right here. But just a reference going to the 3rd verse, going to what should be a sign of thy coming and of the end of the world. So list off various, signs and things that we would see now take place before Lord Yahushua will return. And we are seeing various things unfolding, taking place as we speak. Now, so you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See, be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this is exactly what we're seeing. So I do want to see another translation. GNT says, you are going to hear the noise of battles close by and the news of battles far away. This is not what we're seeing. But do not be troubled. Such things must happen, but they do not mean that the end has come. Prophecy needs to be fulfilled and take place before World War III is fully kicked off. So you're not going to see it instantly. It will just happen. And you still need the MOTB to be mandated, being pushed out. Jacob's trouble, which we're really in the midst of now, which is only going to pick up. So a lot of things still need to unfold and happen before World War III is just hands on. And that's when we're at the end. But let's continue on with a couple more scriptures. Jeremiah 50:45. Now it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord of Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of Chaldeans. Showing you the elites. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. You see, Israel pulled, America into the mix, which even going a few months back, how, the U.S. was rejecting, to getting involved. But you had Israel pretty much, ask multiple times and U.S. ultimately end up getting involved, which is all according to prophecy, man. To spend probably how Bashim Shai, going to show you can't stop it. Because now look what's happening. Now you have the U.S. pretty much hands-on, pulled into the mix. Like I made that point earlier, it's going to get a whole lot muddier once you begin to see a lot of these other nations begin to, back their allies, starting to, stand up. But this is surely the least of flock shall draw them out. And so you see what Israel did. They surely shall make their habitation desolate with them. A couple more, Zephaniah 3 and 8. Now it says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. So we're to wait upon Yahweh Shem Shai to put our faith and trust in the Lord. As many of our people talk about what to do. Do we doom prep? Do we buy play tickets to flee America? Especially just Jake panicking overall with what's taking place. Talks of World War III, of war in general. Jake began to panic, but we're to place our faith and our trust in the Lord, as especially in Psalm 91, going to the Lord being that hedge, that safe haven. Now we're under His wing, under His watch, His protection. But it says, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, which is read in Joel. Going to the land of Yehoshaphat. Now, so let the heathen be awakened and come out to the valley of Yehoshaphat, for there also to judge all the heathen round about. So, all playing, according to, it's all going according to Yahweh Shem Shai's plan. As it's written. It's like trying to find my words there. And that's for my determination to gather nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation. Isaiah 34. It goes into his indignation. The Lord's going ready to fire and brimstone upon this place, which is ultimately be these thermonuclear missiles in this time. As you also have, Babylon the Great, aka America, being spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Now it says, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. What's the first death? By the way of water. We're going to that great flood. The second death is going to be by the way of fire, and specifically thermonuclear fire. And various scripture going to this fire. You get in 2 Peter 3:10, goes into that fervent heat. Isaiah 95 going to this war being by the way of fuel and flaming fire, paraphrasing. So it's going to be a nuclear war, man. This is Ezekiel 12 and 23. It's a great scripture right here. Now, I'll read the NLT. And it says, tell the people, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will put an end to this proverb, and you will soon stop quoting it. And why are we going to stop quoting it? Because it happens to be taking place. Soon the prophets will no longer be doing the talking. That's why it's important to get this truth, this knowledge, and wisdom while you still can, because the Lord's going to take it all away. Things are getting ready to go down, as you're already seeing. Ecclesiastes 5, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, make no delay, so seek the Lord now. Read on top one more time, starting that on T. Tell the people what the sovereign Lord says. I'll put an end to this proverb, and you'll soon stop quoting it. Now I'll give them this new proverb to replace the old one. The time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled. So we are at the end of this place, man, and it's clear, it is evident. And if you're still struggling to put the pieces together, there is a serious problem. Now, 2 Ezra 15 and 8, and it says, I'll hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. As you can also get Ezekiel 9 and 4. They're going to how we're sighing and crying to the Lord to get us out of here, to destroy this place. But also, further going to show that point. The Lord is no longer going to hold back. You get another scripture, how I've been still and refrained myself. Now I shall destroy and devour at once. Rough paraphrasing. I forgot the exact chapter. Isaiah 42, okay. Isaiah 14:14. And it says, I have a long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman, I will destroy and devour at once. Hey, the Lord's getting ready to unleash judgment, great judgment upon this place, man. And this is not even the worst of it. Just wait till you see an increase, of the plagues, the pestilences, which is more judgments going on, especially, this coming judgment, dealing with the World War III, aka Armageddon. You're going to script how your mountains are going to be, full of blood. Isaiah 34. Just jump straight to that point. And it says, verse 3, "Their slain also to be cast out, and the stink shall come out of the carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." Actually, verse 2, I might as well read this full chapter here. "As it come to your nations to hear, and hearken, people like there to hear, and all that's there in the world, and all things that come forth of it, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and is very upon all their armies. He had utterly destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter." And we just read verse 3, going to verse 4, "And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll," which is speaking of those mushroom clouds being formed from those explosions. "And all the hosts shall fall down, and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falls off from the vine, and falling fig from the fig tree. For his fire from my sword shall be bathed in heaven," which is speaking of those thermonuclear missiles, not speaking of a literal sword coming down. "And behold, it shall come down upon Idumea," another word for Esau, Edom, "and upon the people my cursed judgment." Now, read this last verse right here. "The sword of the Lord's filled blood is made fat with fatness, and with blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." So great judgment will befall this place. And you're seeing the various steps being taken towards just complete chaos erupting. As we're especially seeing the fall of Babylon the Great, great division taking place, and they're going to have war added on top of it. Hey, this place ain't ready. The people are not ready. As Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 is closing the script, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end shall speak and not lie. They would tarry wait for it, because it surely come, it will not tarry," meaning it will not delay. And we are in these appointed times as written, spoken of within the scriptures, and that vision is speaking of these signs and these prophecies, man. So we are quite literally nearing the end of this place. So I wanted just a quick update regarding the situation as to what just transpired, dealing with the U.S. sinking a Iranian warship. So things are only getting more heated. But you Lord, to us to edify and close out, give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Al Shai, Bashem, Kakadash, and Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.